Hey guys, it's another edition of No Time for Nonsense. It's Bill Vinci along with my son Ryan. Ryan, what's up, buddy?
What's going on today?
Another big night. It's a Monday night. It's the first night we've done a show on a Monday, and we're going to be doing Mondays from now on, and we're done with Sundays, but it's pretty exciting. We got a really cool guest today, which I'm really excited to have on our show. We have Nicole Peterson, LFL. How did I really botch that up?
Together.
Man, did I mess it. We just talked for a half an hour and I botched it up. So the LFL League football player. Nicole, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you on the show. We're excited to have you on, and thanks for joining us for the night. We're going to hang out.
Thank you for inviting me. This is exciting. It's a welcomed distraction.
Yeah, I was going to say, it has to be. Guys, we are on No Time for Nonsense right now. If you're watching, make sure you give us a share. While you're watching the show, share it with your friends. If you have any questions for Nicole, definitely message them on the board, and we will relay them over to her, and she can give you the answer to question you got. And make sure you like our page at No Time for Nonsense and follow us there. Okay, Nicole. Well, first of all, we definitely want to ask you, during this coronavirus thing and football season, what's going on right now?
What's going on with my football season?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, due to COVID, similar to a lot of other summer sports, we have postponed our season to 2021. So we normally start in April, the first week of April, and we unfortunately will not be starting until April of 2021. But it just gives, I came off of an injury at the end of last season. So for me, I wasn't going to be able to play the first game of this season anyways, because ours was April 11th, I think. Mm-hmm. And I was only about 7 months out at that point. So I was going to have to wait until game 2 to play anyway. So for me, it's an extra year to get my body right, but you never know what can happen in a year also. Yeah. So trying to look on the bright side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get the show started and talk to Nicole, we got to thank our sponsors for tonight's show. First of all, I want to thank Matt Grabsky down at Out of the Way Cafe. Matt's got some unique specials going on this week. And Nicole, this is some good upstate New York food we got here.
I'm in New York a lot, actually.
You do? Okay. So there's a couple places. This is one of them. Out of the Way Cafe. Matt Grabsky, they got a chicken scarp sandwich that I heard is out of this world. You're going to want to check out. And then they got their surf and turf burger, which is he's writing it down. Which is a homemade crab cake and a burger, and it's phenomenal. They got pistachio pancakes, huge.
I love those.
I'm from Maryland, so your crab cake has to be good. I'm a big judge of crab cake.
All right, well we're gonna have to invite you up to upstate New York sometime. You come up this way, we'll treat you to some crab cakes up here.
You hear that, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, you better be ready because we're bringing Nicole down when she comes to New York. So Matt, thank you so much. If you want to put an order in for breakfast or lunch, give him a call at 315-733-5060. Also want to thank Geddes Bakery out of North Syracuse, Pappas family. They got the spanakopia, they got the baklava, they got all of their homemade pies, their cannolis, all their fresh breads, and some of the nicest people around. We've done a couple shows out there showcasing them. Make sure you check them out in North Syracuse. Call them, put in your order for your pies, your breads, your cookie trays. You can reach them at 315-437-8084. And then our final sponsor tonight, the Columbus House, the Columbus Public House out in Sherburne, family-oriented restaurant. They got fantastic food, great service. I heard some amazing chicken wings, fish fries, and they have a bourbon bacon burger. I guess they'll blow your mind. So you're definitely
all about that.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. We're going to be filming the show there hopefully this summer, and we'll be trying out all those foods. So thank you to the Columbus, and give them a call. See what they got going on. It's 607-847-8422. So thank you to tonight's sponsor, tonight's show. Now we're back with Nicole Peterson. Now, Nicole, you grew up in Leonardstown, Maryland.
I did. No one knows where that is. Not anyone. Anyone who's listening or you don't know Leonardtown, Maryland, unless you're from Leonardtown, Maryland.
Yeah. So tell us about Leonardtown, Maryland, growing up.
I actually think I had to look up the population for something randomly the other day, and it was less than 2,000 people.
Oh,
so it's a really small town in Maryland. When I say south of DC, people don't really understand that. So it's on the very tip of Maryland, right before Virginia on the water, but on the western shore of the water, not the eastern shore where like Ocean City is.
Oh, got it.
So some people may have heard of like Waldorf area, or Mud Creek is a race venue. I don't know, down there. But so those things are all in St. Mary's County. But yeah, and I'm in a little tiny town called Leonardtown. That's where I grew up.
Little small town. Okay. Guys, if you're just jumping on, we're with Nicole Peterson. If you got any questions, send a message. John Pappas said, "What's up, Billy?" John owns Geddes Bakery. Danny Mulatto. Oh, hello, my friends. How you doing, Danny? I think you must have took a nap today. Danny goes to bed early, so he took a nap specifically to stay up and watch the show tonight. So
I appreciate you, Danny.
That's awesome, Danny. So thanks for tuning in. So now in high school, did you play any sports?
I did. Not traditional that you would think would translate to football, though. I grew up swimming, playing tennis. I cheered in high school and in college for University of Maryland. So not at all the traditional path to becoming a female football player. Yeah. I used to be on the sidelines. Now I hit people.
Big transition.
Yeah, my path to this sport is a little unlike anyone else's, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it makes me unique, and also I get underestimated a lot because of that, which I love. I absolutely love it, because then, it's a big surprise when you meet me for the first time. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny said I messed up his name again. I know, Danny, I cannot pronounce your name for it. He said, "Hi, Nicole." So
hi.
Hello. Dan, I know, Dan. I should just say Danny M. That would have been easier. So after high school, you went to Maryland, University of Maryland. And where did you, the Terps. Big Terps fan, huh?
Yeah, big Terps fan.
That's awesome.
You guys should check out their recruiting class for football.
They got a big class.
It's been a couple sad years in Maryland football. It was actually my freshman and sophomore year were good when I was there, because it was like the Sean Merriman era, Bruce Perry, those guys.
Yep.
A lot of guys that went on to the league, like Madu Williams. But then towards my junior and senior year, we were not so great at Maryland. And then unfortunately now they're part of the Big Ten. When I was there, we were with ACC. So it's really hard for me to watch football and basketball games now, because I don't have a stake in the game. Like, there's no rivalries. You don't have that Maryland Duke basketball game every year that everybody gets hyped for. Like Maryland, North Carolina used to be a big one. And we don't have that anymore. There's no rivalry between us and Michigan or Iowa, so it's tough. The one good thing I will say is that they play Texas every year in football and basketball, but so occasionally that'll be down here, and then I'll get to actually go. So. Oh,
that's cool. I was going to say my favorite Terp of all time from Maryland, Lenny Bias, who passed away tragically, was one of the greatest athletes I saw play basketball, but Boomer Esiason, quarterback. Love Boomer. I watch Boomer every morning on Boomer and Gio show, their show, and he's always got his Maryland stuff there. So that's big Terp name in your part of the country right there.
Yeah.
Boomer. Love Boomer.
It was a little before my time.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. He goes, Dan said she's way young, but Boomer Esiason was the man. Yeah, he was the man back when. That's right. Yeah, Boomer.
So you had this big transition from when you're doing like cheer and stuff. How did you get into football?
So I've been playing flag football, co-ed flag football for probably maybe over 10 years. I used to play in Baltimore, and to be honest, I really wasn't that good. I've always had great hands. My dad was a football player, so my hands were great, but the rest of it, I think, came along later. But when I first started in Baltimore, it was just for fun. It was like a drinking league on Sundays, and most of the time I would be hungover from the night before, and I was like 21 at the time. So, but fast forward, I actually, my full-time career, I do sports marketing, and I took a job in the end of 2014 with the Legends Football League, which is the league that I now play for, to come on as part of their rebrand as a marketing director. So when I came on for that and I saw what they did, I was like, I could do this, fuck that. Like, I don't need to be working for them, I want to play. So I started training really diligently for about 6 months, and then made the transition from California to Dallas to play for Dallas. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you start watching football? When you were young too?
Yeah, I've always been a tomboy. I know, like, exterior wise, I still probably look like a cheerleader. But inside is all like rugged tomboy. Yeah. I've watched football my whole life with my dad.
So who was your favorite team? And do you have a favorite player when you were growing up?
So my dad played for the Bears when I was, I wasn't born yet, but I was born in Iowa, actually, which is another place you guys have never heard of.
Hey, feel the dreams.
Well, that's true. That's true. We have like 2 cities there. No, I was born in Iowa and I moved to Maryland when I was 5. So my dad took a coaching job and he's a teacher now, but well, he's retired now. But so we grew up Bears fans because that's all we knew. And then being in Baltimore for so long and being close to Maryland, and then I had a couple jobs when I first got into sports where we worked directly with the Ravens and the players on their charity events. That really made me a Ravens fan. I was there for about, between University of Maryland and then living in Baltimore, I was there for about 11 years. So I definitely follow the Bears and the Ravens. Everyone here has been trying to convert me to a Cowboys fan, and I've been really resisting.
No, not a good.
We live in Dallas. There's stars everywhere, and like everybody from here. It's like a little cult, And I do enjoy watching them, but I could watch anybody play football. So I don't have any teams that I hate. I'm not like one of those people that hates the Patriots or.
Right. Even your rivalry teams in your division.
Well, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, though. Like, how can you not like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, that's true.
He's hard to hate. So, I just like good football. Of course, I want my teams to win, but I just like seeing good football.
You must be happy with the Ravens right now. I mean, they got a great team going.
They had a great draft. Yeah, they had a great draft, unlike, Eagles fans.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. We talked a little bit before we came on air with being a Bucs fan, me and Ryan, and we're pretty stoked to get Brady and Gronk coming to Tampa this year and see what they can do with all the weapons. So it should be a fun year.
I know, yeah. You guys definitely got to get down and go to some of those games because that's going to really be like a rebirth for the Bucs.
Yeah, Danny said, "Go Pack, go!" Yeah, Danny's one of the only Pack fans I know. So he always wears the cheese hat on Sundays when he does his.
I can't get with that.
Hear
that? Like Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers he's fine, but I definitely don't want to see them win.
So Nicole, how did you get into the LFL though? So how did it transfer going from that into the LFL and decided to play?
So when I was working for the league, I felt like it was a level of athleticism that would really push me and give me some goals that I hadn't really been, I hadn't had goals that lofty in a while from a physical standpoint. So I started training with the quarterback from the LA team right after that season that I worked with them. And she worked with me for, like I said, about 5 months, and we came out in January, that next January, together to Dallas because Dallas was restarting their team. So we came out here as part of that restart to rebrand the Dallas team and bring them back. And unfortunately, that only lasted for 1 year. But when I came out here, my career is here also. So I've lived here for the entire 5 years that I've played. But I was fortunate enough to be able to then go and play for Seattle for 2 years. I had to fly back and forth every other weekend, which is a challenge in and of itself. But I became addicted to it, honestly. I still am. Even, I was on the fence about playing this year because I work in the Olympic space. There was obviously originally going to be an Olympic and Paralympic Games this year in 2020 in July and August. So I was on the fence about playing this year. I also got pretty seriously injured in our playoff game last year. But there's just something so addicting about it. There's nothing that can take place in my life of that competition. So I find myself at the end of every season thinking like, this is it for me. And then it becomes 2-3 months later and I miss it and I have to go back. So kind of how it happened.
So what was the team you started playing for, and what was your position?
The first team I played for was Dallas Desire. I've always played center. I played defensive end on defense. We all have to know how to play both ways because we only traveled 14 players. So it's 7-on-7 football. Your center is eligible. So your center and your 2 guards are all considered tight ends, and they're all eligible to receive. So that's one thing that makes our game a little bit different. And, you know, a lot of people, obviously you guys have seen the uniform because you guys posted some pictures. A lot of people complain or ask about the uniform. Because of how fast-paced and how athletic our game is, you have to be in tight end or better shape based on every position on the field. So, you know, we don't have lineman bodies because we don't really have lineman positions. Right. We are linemen that also have to be able to go out and catch and receive and run. So, you know, it definitely, like I said, it makes you strive for an athletic goal. And I was in better shape at 33 than I was at 23 because of this. So the uniform doesn't bother me at all. But to answer your question, I played for Dallas Desire for a year. Seattle Mist for 2 years, won a championship there. And then Austin Acoustic last year and this year. And Austin last year, we won the regular season. We were undefeated. And then unfortunately lost our playoff game. I tore my PCL and my knee. That was brutal. So didn't end that season how we would have liked. And, you know, this was our redemption year, and now we're pushed back another year, but, you know, we'll make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're with Nicole Peterson. If you have any questions for her, post them on the board here. We'll relay them over to you. That was the next question I wanted to ask you, though, Nicole, is for people who haven't seen the league, tell us a little bit about it, maybe some of the teams and how that's put together.
For sure. So there's 8 teams across the country. It's 7-on-7 full tackle, which people are confused by when they see the uniform because our pads are very small. We do wear shoulder pads. They kind of go from here up. Knee pads, elbow pads, but those are optional, so you don't have to wear them. But we don't have any padding in our midsection. So there are injuries, but fortunately, I have had really great coaches that have taught us how to hit and how to be hit. I think knee injuries are something that are somewhat unavoidable. When you receive and you get hit during a reception from your blind side, you can't help how you're going to fall because you don't know where the hit's coming from. So that's how that hit. That's how I tore mine. I was on a corner route, and the safety from the other side shot across, so she was behind me, so I didn't see her hit me from the back. My knee hit the ground, and
Oh.
But to circle back, so it's 7-on-7 football. There's 8 cities across the country, Western Conference, Eastern Conference. It's Seattle, LA, Austin, and Denver are in the West. Okay. And then Omaha, which is really random, I know, but Omaha, they have a great fan base, actually. Yeah. Omaha, Atlanta, Chicago, and Nashville were in the East. Nashville was actually the first franchise team, and they were taken over by Kansas City. So this next year, the league is completely different. They've rebranded to X League, and Kansas City will take place of Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I heard that they have pretty good talent up there. It's really hard, though, when you come into this league as a new team because nothing, no matter what athleticism you have, nothing takes place of having the experience of playing this game. So when you have a team like ours that has a lot of veterans on the roster, it is no matter how athletic you are, it's really hard. You have to understand the game of football, which also takes a lot of learning for women because we don't play this our whole lives.
Right.
You know, we haven't been doing this forever. Our bodies aren't trained to have been doing this forever. You know, we didn't learn this as babies. So you have to learn the mental side of it too. And that takes years to develop. Especially having like a rookie quarterback is such a disadvantage in this league. So I have seen their players and they look very athletic, but I think that everybody's inaugural season is going to be rough.
Yeah.
Except for ours in Dallas, we went to playoffs. But.
Now, is there a team that you guys rival with? I mean, we're talking, college football rivalries. Is there a team in the league that you?
I would say so. Western Conference, because myself and my quarterback, we have played together for 4 years. We've traveled all these teams together. So because we played for Seattle for 2 years and then came to Austin, and we kind of said we were coming home because we both live in Dallas, and it's driving distance, and it was a great decision. Our coach in Austin is amazing. And of course I love my girls in Seattle, but because of that situation, it created this rivalry.
Yep.
We were also the 2 best teams in the league last year. So, and the year prior to that as well, when we were, well, yeah. It's been a rivalry because of that. Yep. But the teams change every year. It really just depends on who's playing. But I would say Seattle-Austin is the biggest rivalry right now. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a favorite stadium you like to play in?
You know, I wish I could say it was my home stadium at HEB Center, but Seattle has the best fans. And even when, so our first game of, no, it wasn't our first game, second game of the season last year, we were in Seattle when I played for Austin. And of course I had been there for 2 years. They sell out every game, one. They have backing from the Seahawks, not financially, but their players and coaches and all that really, they come to the games and push the word out for us. So that's really cool. One of the girls on their team, Kara Williams, her brother played for the Seahawks and then bounced around the NFL for a while. So he really helps get some word out too, and that helps. But, and they just have a crazy athletic family. But they're so loud. But even last year when I went there, tons of fans still had my face on their shirt and, you know, were really super supportive and afterwards wanted to come and take pictures and all that. So even though they are very loyal to Seattle, they also love their individual players and were very sweet about us coming back last year. Mm-hmm. So I would say Seattle is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, well, plus Seattle and the NFL's got the 12th man because of their crowd.
Yeah, we have the 8th man because we have 7 people. So ours is called the 8th man and everybody has like shirts. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, here's one of my favorite questions asked. Since we're big foodies and we travel all over New York, what's your favorite city to go and eat at when you're traveling around?
Oh, easy. New York City.
New York City.
New York City is probably my favorite city, hands down, to travel, period. I love New York. Obviously, I'm from the East Coast, and I travel quite a bit between work and football. But my favorite city to visit is New York.
New York City. How often do you get up there? Do you get up much?
Maybe 2 to 3 times a year. I, in my life outside of football, manage athletes for a major USOPC Olympic and Paralympic sponsor. And a couple of my athletes actually live in New York City. So when we have events or create content, I'm up there. So, and then we also have a really big auto show up there that I'll go to. So 2 to 3 times a year for work. And then I usually extend that a day or 2 for personal and explore the city.
That's cool. So here's a question I love to ask athletes, musicians, because this comes up all the time, and we get some good stories on this. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a game? Between a fan or something, or you had any wacky incident?
You know what? I mean, I could go one of 2 ways with this.
Just this is an open. Let us know what happened.
I mean, definitely getting hurt. I had never experienced, like, I broke my arm in a game my rookie year. And I came off the field and I was like, I think my arm's broken and my wrist was like hanging down. And that really wasn't that bad because then I casted it and I was able to play the rest of the season and I kind of had a club. So I was great, it was like an advantage. But I had never had a significant joint injury. And so when I tore my knee in a game, that was pretty gnarly. I had never experienced pain like that. And I really didn't know what was happening. Like, I didn't know that it was torn. I played a couple more plays after that and then knew something was wrong because I couldn't plant. It kept giving out. Yep. So that was definitely like a crazy experience. But I would say the other one, which I love this now, but playoffs 2 years ago in Chicago, a group of Seattle fans came from Seattle, flew to Chicago, and they all made these shirts with my this like cartoon character of me on it. My number is 11, and so it all said 11 from heaven. And now I'm like friends with all of them on Facebook, and I love that. Some of them might even be watching right now, but and that was just so cool to see that like that we as individuals they like, because a lot of people just don't really take the time to get to know us as people. They assume a lot of things really about our league. Right. But the fact that these guys went out of their way to like, pick a favorite player and make shirts for me and then travel all the way to Chicago to see these games, like that was so cool to me. And it definitely like legitimizes you as an athlete, you know? So yeah, those two.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I know the fans, what kind of vibe do you get from them? Because I know you have a pretty good following, as you were just saying. What kind of vibe do you get from the fans as a whole? Is it a pretty crazy kind of group?
Yeah, it's fun. The games are really, really fun. It's definitely the demographic. You know, we actually get a lot of people think it's mostly men. We actually get a lot of women. And we have more recently, especially since the rebrand from Lingerie, get more little kids that come out, and we'll get young girls that come through, and we always have an autograph session after each game. So I think that's another reason that people really like our sport, because we are accessible. So they can watch us on TV, they can come to a game, but then they get to meet every player afterwards and actually have a conversation or take a picture, get an autograph. And people really like that part of it. They like to connect with the people that they watch, right? So our fans are awesome. I honestly, like, I always say when people have a negative connotation about the league, come to a game, because I understand that the uniform that we wear puts asses in the seats, but people keep coming back and they become fans of us because they're like, holy shit, these girls can play football.
Right. Yeah.
And they'll see, you know, our linebacker hit somebody and lay him out and let's second play. And they're like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought this was going to be powder puff or flag or whatever. And it's not. Right. Or they'll see, you know, our quarterback throw like a 40-yard bomb to the end zone. And they're like, holy shit, I didn't know girls could play like this. So, So I love our fan base, and I always tell people, before you make a judgment call on it, just based off of externally looking at it, come to a game. It is the best atmosphere. It's so fun. I mean, a lot of our fans will tell you, like, they think it's better than NFL, again, because we're accessible and relatable. But yeah, so our fan base is awesome. It's definitely rowdy, but I have actually never been to a game where there's been a fight in our stands. No. So yeah, our fans are definitely cleaner than some of the NFL fans.
And Danny said, I love the Dallas Desire uniforms, by the way.
Oh, that one is, that's an old one. Because now we wear shorts. But yeah, that one's an old one.
That's what I was going to ask you now with the uniforms. I mean, obviously, when I see the pictures and stuff, I mean, the uniforms, girls look incredible in them. I mean, that's a given thing. But how hard is it to play in it though? Is it comfortable? Is it? It's
more comfortable now than when I first started playing. I never played in the lingerie days, so I didn't do the whole lace and garters thing. That wasn't for me. But when I first started playing, though, the uniform was a lot smaller than it is now, because now we've had pants for a year. We have shorts now and a sports bra. But honestly, I get asked this question a lot, and I will say I don't even think about it. When I step on the field, like, my mentality is game driven, and I don't even notice what I'm wearing. So it's not hard for me to wear the uniform. Other people may disagree with that, but my focus is on being an athlete and being in the game at that time. So I don't even think of the uniform. Honestly.
Do you think that the uniform should be maybe upgraded to a little bit more protection for you guys, or do you think it's a little bit more injury prone with what you got now?
I could go both ways with it. You know, obviously we all want to protect ourselves. We don't make money from this. You know, this isn't our career. We all have careers outside of football, but we all also know what we sign up for. So, you know, I think there are plenty of full tackle, full equipment leagues, and they don't get to fly across the country. They don't play in sold out stadiums. They don't have fan apparel. They don't have, you know, the experiences that we get to have. I mean, we go to other countries and travel to play for all-star games, and, you know, they don't have the same opportunities. And I think that if you take away the appeal of the uniform, that you may not have those opportunities for us either. So, you know, I'm in marketing, so I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Makes sense to me. It's not offensive. And like I said, everyone knows what they're signing up for.
So what's your favorite thing about playing football?
I'm so competitive. I hate losing at anything in life. I don't like losing an argument. I don't like losing a card game. I will my sister used to always say when we were little at Monopoly that I would cheat before I would lose. Like I would steal her little pieces or whatever. So I love competition. I love it. So that's definitely my favorite part. There's nothing like walking out of the tunnel during game intros and just like that rush of over emotion. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
That's why I struggle to walk away from it.
Yeah. That's the next question I wanted to ask you is, do you have a pregame ritual? Like, is there a certain food you eat before a game? Is there a certain song you're listening to in the locker room to get you all jacked up? What do you got for pregame rituals?
So I am sort of a creature of habit, and I do get a little bit, I listen to really ratchet hip hop before games, like Young Jeezy, really, really nasty, raunchy, ratchet hip hop that makes you want to like just tear somebody's head off. Because in my outside life, I am not that way at all. So to like tap into that emotion, I have to kind of take myself out of my body and get in that space. But I have superstitions where like if I wear a pair of socks and we lose, I won't wear them anymore. Right. Or like if I wear a pair of socks and I get hurt, I won't even wear that color anymore. So, and then I always put my stuff on the same way. Myself and my quarterback, we have to sit next to each other in the locker room. So there's certain little superstitions that I do have. And I mean, I don't know whether they work or not, but I will say I should not have worn the damn socks in the playoff game because I knew I was going to get fucking hurt.
What are the colors you won't wear now?
My team is orange and white. It's like orange and white and gray. And for some reason, I decided to wear gray socks during playoffs. And it's a bad decision.
Bad call.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
It is funny. Being an athlete, I mean, even when I played growing up and stuff, there was just things that I think athletes, it's just part of who we are. We have superstitions that, if I get 3 hits in a baseball game and I'll wear the same thing over and over until, you know, I do it watching games. Like if my team's getting beat, I'll move from the couch to the recliner. Now they come back, I'll stay there. And right, Ryan, when we're watching football games, I'm very superstitious. Don't move off that chair. Stay in that same spot.
I do the same thing. I'm also about my gloves. Like if I ever drop a ball, I'm like I need new gloves.
Yes.
Couldn't have been me. It was definitely the gloves.
Definitely the gloves. That's funny. It's funny. I listen to a song before I come on air with you guys.
What is it?
I tell the story every time, and it's just something about it's Motley Crue, Wild Side.
That's different. All right. Wasn't expecting that one, but that's great. It gets you in the right side of mind.
It does. It just gets me fired up. And, it's just like, before a game, I play that. And it's just, I don't know. And all I'm doing is sitting here talking to you over a camera. So I don't need to get all fired up, but I do. I get excited. I still get the feelings, in your stomach, the butterflies doing the show. And I do it with our other show when we're on. When I go to a restaurant in a different sound, whether in Binghamton, Albany, filming, I think it's just you really like what you're doing when you get those butterflies. Because I was excited all day. I was talking to people on the phone. I said, I can't wait for tonight's show. I can't wait to hear Nicole's story. And you look forward. I was talking to Ryan earlier. I said I can't wait for tonight's show. It's going to be fun. So,
which time?
About the 6th time I called you. Yeah, I must have called you 6 times. Say we went over the show and everything else. So
wait, do you two not live close to each other?
We do. We're about half hour away from each other. 22. Yeah, he's a Utica fireman, and he lives out in Utica, so we're about 20 minutes away. So it's not a bad drive. But I call him all the time, and we talk about everything. I drive him nuts, so calling 1,000 in the day. Always got ideas going through my head, trying to market our show, trying to come up with new ideas and stuff. So, I mean, that's right up your alley right there.
You can talk to me for 30 minutes about what you're going to eat for the next week, every single meal.
I do.
Down with that conversation.
I do. When you eat for a living, I think about the night before when I'm laying in bed, I'm going, all right, for breakfast I'm having this, for lunch I'm having this, for dinner I'm having this. I don't know. It's just maybe it's an Italian thing too. We love our food. We love.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Not a bad thing.
No.
So what do you like to do in your off time besides football?
So I play a lot of flag football also. I have a women's team. We've won the national championship a couple times. We won Worlds once. It's with a couple of the girls that are also on my LFL team. Mm-hmm. But I play on like some weekly social leagues here. Lots of football, I know. Other than that, honestly, the one thing that is killing me about quarantine is that I really only watch sports on TV. I'm not really a sitcom watcher. I'm not home enough to like develop a show that I watch all the time. Right. So not watching live sports has been killing me. So I've really gotten into NASCAR.
Oh,
I know. Wow. But also, given my career, we obviously have vehicles in the NASCAR space. So I learned about that. I went to Daytona 500 for work in February, and I was just fascinated by the business side of it and strategy. Like there's so much strategy that goes into it. It's not just, cars going around in a circle. Right. So once you actually learn about it, then you can watch it and you're like, oh, like these two don't like each other. Like if they get next to each other, he might bump him. And, right. It's cool. So recently, since I, haven't been able to watch live sports or play any type of football, I've really just been working out at home. And then now that NASCAR is back, watching NASCAR. I'm not a gamer or anything. Mm-hmm. I travel so much that I'm usually never home. Right. So this last 3 months has been just trying to figure out what else I do like to do, because all I know is sports and travel.
That's the toughest thing for me is I watch, huge basketball fan. Well, more college than NBA now.
Me too.
The NBA. I love the college. I love college sports, anything, football, basketball, but big baseball. So this time of the year is really tough for me. And then obviously football. It's like religious in our house on Sundays. You make in the morning, you make the meatballs. You're getting ready for football, and I'm in front of that TV getting my fantasy teams ready. Oh, by the way, do we have a fantasy women's league? We don't.
No? We don't, and I don't know why nobody's ever put that together.
Ryan, there we go.
We'll call them DraftKings right now. I'm gonna let them know.
DraftKings. Let's get the women's league.
What the hell?
Draft the team.
You know that you can bet on our games in Vegas. Yeah. There is a bet line, but I've never seen a fantasy league now.
Fantasy league. Interesting. Yeah. Well, you got to be, you really got to do your studying.
Yeah, I think it's hard too because in our league there's so few players.
Right.
So true. You could only have a couple teams in the same league.
Yeah.
And we unfortunately do get hurt quite a bit. So, if you put all your money on someone who gets hurt, the backups are almost never as good. And, it would be
I got to say, NFL's been the same way.
Yeah.
Good point.
First or second round are always hurt every year, it seems like. It's just how it goes.
You know what? That brings me to another question, Nicole. What if a couple players get hurt on the team? Now, there's not like a minor league system, or are there people in the waiting, or how does that work?
So we have we can hold 20 people on our roster.
Okay.
We held at Austin about 24 people throughout the year. So when people did get hurt, we had other people to kind of slide into the roster. Seattle, on the other hand, which is interesting because the year that we won, I think we brought 12 people to playoffs, meaning a lot of people were playing both sides of the ball for most of the game. I don't even know. Actually, it might have been less than that. We had like 10 to 12 people that year. So we had no reserves. So it was like last-ditch effort, you're laying all your cards on the table, and this is all we've got. My first year actually in Dallas, we had an away game in California. By the end of that game, we were down to 8 players that could play. And we were all playing both ways and lost that game by 1 freaking point. And that was a heartbreaker because it was the only game we lost all season. So, yeah, it's – wait, what was the original question?
If say you had a couple girls go down.
So throughout the year, though, I mean, there is an opportunity to pick people up in the middle of the season. To re-sign, there's a deadline. I think it was originally July 15th. But that being said, it's almost impossible to pick up someone who's never played before. So we will do, if we could get into a bind where we're at the end of the season and both of our DNs went out and our backups are just not pulling weight, we will call someone who's played that position in the league prior who is not on a current roster and say, hey, like, are you in shape? Can you come out for a couple practices the next month or two before we're playoffs? You have until our playoffs are at the end of August, and you have until July 15th to sign a couple extra players from previous. Yeah.
Okay. We got a couple comments by Jeff Durso. That's all he does is eat. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. Yeah, that's a staple.
That's terrible. I don't hate that.
And Danny said, don't forget Nicole's autograph picture for the wall. Yeah,
I got you.
We did talk about Dan before we went on, so I'll send you my address and we can get that picture. We're still waiting for your picture, Danny. You haven't sent us one yet for you and Larry. So getting back to things now, hobbies. Do you have hobbies? Do you have time for hobbies? I know you work out a lot at the house, but is there anything that you do that's hobby-wise?
Honestly, I don't really have hobbies. I know that sounds terrible, but like I said, I don't know if this was on air or off before we were talking, but I travel quite a bit for work. Mm-hmm. And then given that I live in a city that I don't play in, I travel quite a bit also for football. And then also for flag, we travel around the country for different tournaments. So I am not home enough to have hobbies.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I mean, I love working out. I like being outside. There's a lot of stuff to do in Dallas. I do love to travel, so that's why I don't mind that aspect of my job or with football. I will almost always stay, if it's the first time I've been to a city, I will almost always stay and explore, other what there is to do within those cities and restaurants and look all that stuff up. So I would say maybe traveling is a hobby, if you can consider that. Not right now, obviously.
Right. So talk about your job now, your regular full-time week job that you have besides football. What do you do? I
absolutely love my job. I have been in sports marketing for about 12 years, and it's a hard market to get into. It's definitely one of those things where you have to start from the bottom and work your way up, and it's through connections and relationships. Sports marketing is very relationship driven, so luckily that has played in my favor. I don't want to call the company out just because this is not about that, but so I work for a major automotive brand. They are a global sponsor of the Olympic and Paralympic Games, and I manage our athlete roster for that. So I think you guys are going to have on one of my athletes.
Yes.
He's one of our athletes later this week, Louis Vito. He's a good friend, but he's a snowboarder. So I manage that roster of athletes and social media, stuff like that. So super rewarding, amazing company. Exactly. If you would have asked me when I got out of college, what do you want to do? Write it on a piece of paper. It's what I do now. So I'm super blessed to wake up every day and get to do exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a question for you from Johnny Pappas. How many touchdowns has Nicole scored?
So I play center. So typically that's not a position that would score, but I did tell you guys in our league, centers are eligible. Mm-hmm. I believe I have 3. I know I had 2 last season. I would have to look. I don't know. I posted one the other day. I'll send you guys the video.
So Nicole Peterson is not one to pick for fantasy. You don't
not
get
for points, no. Not for points. I'll tell you who to pick for you guys need the inside scoop for fantasy. I don't think that they would put, well, maybe, I guess because in our league everybody is eligible, but I don't know if they would let you pick a center. Most centers don't go out. We were lucky to be in a system where I was in a system, even most centers in our league don't go out, but my coach trusts me in our system. So he does let me release.
Yeah. Now I do got to tell you, I saw you posted something. I don't know, it was maybe a week or 2 ago. It was just a funny little post. The announcers were talking. You're in the background. You're doing a little dance on the field. I was cracking up. So what? I mean,
pregame. It's a pregame during warm-ups. when they have the music on and stuff, I'm always dancing. That's when I'm getting my mind right. I don't know what song it was. It sounded like Mariah Carey.
I just said, because the announcers have no idea, and the screen's in the back, and all of a sudden you got this nice little dance going, and I'm cracking up. I said,
yeah, it's funny because I think in the clip they say, someone who's been playing at the highest level, and they're referring to me, and I'm just like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously you don't hear what they're saying when you're on the field, but
right.
And you don't know when the cameras are on you because they're all
right.
up in the rafters. So I'm always dancing though on the field, always. It's what keeps my mind in there.
Absolutely. Plus, it makes it fun. The people like it. They get a kick out of it in the stands and whatnot. So let me ask you this: after a big win in Seattle or down in Austin, what does Nicole Peterson like to do after?
Go out. We go out, and in Austin, we'll go to 6th Street and drink and dance and celebrate. We don't even take our eye black off or anything. They're used to us doing that there. And in Seattle, and actually in Nashville was really cool when we went out this season. Same thing. But yeah, we'll like quickly rinse off and like put our tank tops or something on that have our name on it, like our team on it. And bars love that. Because, when you walk in like 10 girls, you all have a tank top and eye black on. Everybody's like, what is that? Who are they? And honestly, though, that has helped us sell so many tickets and like get more fans. Because people are like, wait, what? You guys just came from a tackle football game? That's crazy. And then they'll ask about tickets and come to the next one. So.
Isn't that cool? Where you can interact with, you don't see NFL teams and stuff out there, but like you said, that's going to draw more attendance to your games. You're personable. You're taking pictures. You're like, hey, I met Nicole Peterson from the Boston team, and she was so nice. And I wish more athletes, and I know it's we can't say it because we're not in their place, but to me, that the fans are paying to come and watch you guys. And for somebody to, and I've been to so many games. I've been an autograph collector my whole life. And when you see these young kids standing and they're waiting and even if they just yell their name, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? And they don't even look at you. To me, it bothers me. I just think, even if you just said, sorry, I can't, I don't have time, I got to go warm up or something, stay away. But when they just walk past it, so to me, that's really cool what you guys do. Communicate with your fans. That's important.
Yeah, my favorite part is like the week following the game when all the fans tag me on Instagram or Facebook in their photos. It's so cool to see because I wouldn't have those memories if, they didn't tag me in them. So, or I'll get a lot of fan videos of the game, which our broadcast is broadcast a week later than the games come out. So it's not a live broadcast. So, you don't get to see those plays for at least a week. So I love when fans will send me videos or pictures of us afterwards. I love that stuff. Yeah. And I try to like repost and tag all of them and thank them for coming. And to your point though, it makes you more accessible and more relatable. And fans seem to like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that was really cool is that I saw that you were on the cover of LFL Legends Football, the game on Xbox.
So that was we actually haven't had a full video game yet, but that was like the mock for the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool. I've been on the league page a couple of times as the like poster. It's cool to be recognized in that way. I don't think I wouldn't call myself a pioneer of the game because I definitely didn't start back in the 2013 10 days where it was lingerie. But I've been around for a really long time and I understand their marketing strategy and, what they're looking for. So I have a really great relationship with like the leadership within the organization for LFL. So yeah.
So is that something you think is actually going to come to?
It depends. I think it definitely there's a market for it because in all honesty, I'm not a gamer, but in a video game, it doesn't really matter who the players are because you're playing, right? Like you're the one that's physically doing the work. So you don't have to have as many high name athletes. You don't have to know everybody on the team. You can just pick a team and then play. So I know it's been in the works for 3 or 4 years. They've been talking about it. But yeah, I think it'll happen at some point. I might not still be playing. They might take my cover away.
Take the cover off. Jeez, what a shame that would
I
be.
know.
But how cool would it be to see your like you in a game, in a video game?
Yeah, it would be very surreal. Even when I watch us on TV, it's surreal.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so weird. That's me.
Yeah.
You know, and then I notice things that I do during games. And I'm like, why am I doing that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We do the same thing, especially when our show was on TV. When I'm watching like the replays, and I'll go, God, did I really just lick my fingers after I ate those wings on TV? I did.
Always. Yeah.
But that's kind of a staple now with me. People go, you're always looking at your face. I go, well, that's where all the sauce is. That's where all the good.
Yeah, the good part. You
You're
have to
wipe your hands on the napkin, then they stick and everything else, and you make a mess. So that's.
Oh no, I'm definitely. That sounded weird. I was gonna say I'm a finger licker, but that sounds odd. So.
Well, you know, that's what I do.
You got a good sauce. You want all the sauce.
You do.
All the sauce.
You do.
That's it.
Absolutely. So now I got to ask you this, Nicole. How come New York doesn't have a team?
So I believe they did. A good friend of mine, Jenna Weiss, she played actually in Tampa and then in Seattle, but she's from New York. And I believe the very first year in 2010, there was a New York team. The challenge is that most of our teams practice outside, even though we play inside.
Okay.
And we start practice in January. So in New York, it would be very, very tough. So like areas like Denver and Chicago have really hard time with, they typically will end up getting practice facilities, but due to weather, they'll have to cancel a lot. I'm not sure if it just didn't take off up there. I also think one of the challenges of New York is that it is such a sports city, and for how small of a city New York is, even though it's a huge city, but for size, there's so many other sports avenues that would compete with it. Whereas so we're in Austin, the only thing that competes with us is University of Austin, but we play opposite their season. So in Austin, from August to September, there's no football other than us. So we get a ton of fans. Same thing in Seattle. They obviously have baseball, but we typically don't. They try not to put home games on that night. I think New York just has so much competition. Also, not just with sports, but just with stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wasn't around when they did have that team, so I'm not sure if their ticket sales didn't perform well. But that would be my guess. Would be weather, and then just the competition of there's so much to do in New York that it'd be tough.
I think it'd be awesome to put a team in Syracuse, New York, and play under the Carrier Dome.
I almost went to Syracuse.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
So when I was coming out of high school, I was being recruited for cheerleading, and Syracuse was one of the schools that recruited me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You want to come?
And I remember it being very cold.
Very cold.
I actually went to Florida State my freshman year, so I went completely in the opposite direction, and then I came back to Maryland my second year.
Yeah, walking from building to building in Syracuse in the winter, and those winds they're brutal. But it's a beautiful campus.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. Period. I mean, upstate New York is awesome. My current boss is from upstate New York, and her family I see a lot. But I love upstate New York, but I don't know if I can handle those winters. Yeah,
winters are tough. I know. Well, listen, Nicole, we are coming down to the final stretch here, but now things get a little tough for you.
Oh, no.
You're going to be entering the penalty box.
Why? What did I do?
It's just part of the show. You enter the penalty box. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you're going to answer the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, this is going to get me in trouble. Okay.
I'm going to go easy on you. These are easy questions.
Okay.
Favorite meal?
Mexican food, like chips and salsa, queso, tacos. Don't do it often, but when I do it big.
Yeah.
And margaritas. I mean,
margaritas. Yeah. So
spicy margaritas.
Being down in Texas, you must have some great Mexican places.
It's Tex-Mex, so it's different. You have to really find the good Mexican, because Tex-Mex is so different than traditional Mexican food. When I lived in Southern California, it was actually, there were more traditional Mexican restaurants. Yeah. But here, the big thing is tacos. So there are a lot of taco places here. Portuguese is my favorite queso. So when you come to Texas, you have to try torchy's queso.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Favorite musician or band?
Oh boy, that's so hard. I don't see, my music taste is very eclectic. So before games, like I said, I listen to Young Jeezy, so very ratchet hip hop, get in your head. I'm a 90s R&B fan, so take me back to like Jodeci days. So I also listen to that frequently, but I also randomly like country.
Okay.
My favorite country artist would probably be Chris Young. I love his voice. So my music taste is literally all over the place.
Yeah, it's great. Well, being down in Texas, you must get a lot of country. That's gotta be.
It is, but it's not like Austin. So in Austin, like every bar that you go into, it's similar to Nashville. They have a live country artist. It's not like that here. This is a little more city, I think, than Austin. Fort Worth, on the other hand, is very country.
Very country. Okay.
Yeah.
How about favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
Well, yeah, that's one of the best. Great movie. Okay.
Pulls at the heartstrings a little.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great movie. All right, favorite coach and why?
Oh man, this is so tough, and I hope none of them are watching because they'll all be mad. I think my current coach is amazing because he put together a team and knows how to use his players, and he put together a team and recruited veterans within the league to come play for him. So he's amazing in that capacity. However, my coaches my rookie year were two brothers, Melvin Bullitt, who played in the NFL for 6 or 7 years. He was captain of the Colts. And then his younger brother, Terrence, who had a short stint with the Ravens, and he played at Texas Tech. They took me as a rookie and made me into an all-star player in one season. So I would say, and they live here in Dallas. I've done some business with them too, but the two of them really helped develop me as a player when I came in really not knowing anything. And it takes a lot of patience to coach 20 females. so all of my coaches have been great. Honestly, I've been very blessed to have, except my second season in Seattle, my original coach from Seattle went to go coach Nashville. And our coaches that next season were pretty tragic. We coached ourselves and it was tough. But my Seattle coach was also an amazing coach. But if I had to pick one, I would say the Bullitt brothers from Dallas were definitely developed me.
Awesome. Last question. If you could sit down and have one big Mexican meal, you're going all out, chips, tortillas, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, and you can have dinner with one person and you could just sit and shoot the shit for hours and catch up, whether it's somebody who passed on, somebody still around, who would that one person be and why?
So I would say my best friend that lives in California, but I can do that whenever. And this answer is not at all political at all, but it would definitely be Obama. He just fascinates me as a person, and I would love to pick his brain about things not political. I love his views and his insights, and he's just, the way that he delivers his messages to me are very insightful. So yeah, I know that's a weird answer.
No, yeah, that's good. Absolutely.
That's a weird answer.
You guys get Mexican and talk life and
yeah. Hey, he's a Chicago sports fan. I'm a Chicago sports fan, you know.
Yeah, so that kind of works.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nicole, I definitely want to thank you so much, but we do got to tell you, if you ever come up to upstate New York, make sure you let me know.
I will, of course. I definitely will. Thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So Nicole Peterson, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a great time. Got to hear her story. Guys, make sure you share the video when it comes out. It'll be on. Share the video. Let the people know about the league. And they'll be back next year. We're anxious to kind of catch and watch some of the games.
Yeah.
And see.
Yeah, you can follow the league. extfl.com. It's at extfl.
Okay.
And then you can follow me what is my Instagram? At NIK Nick_Peterson.
It is.
Is my Instagram handle.
Okay. All right. So look for that. Make sure you like her page, follow her. You'll get to see her next year, hopefully on the field. And good luck with everything. We appreciate you spending an hour with us and telling your story. And it was really fun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I'll send you my address so you can get that picture hanging on the wall.
I will send it. I actually have some not signed, but I have pictures like 8x10s in my garage.
That's perfect. That's awesome. Brian, thanks again for joining us, man. Always good to see you. And guys, tune in on Thursday. We have snowboarder, U.S. Olympian Lou Vito will be joining us.
He's a riot. You guys are going to have a ball.
So much fun with Louie. Yeah, absolutely. That should be a fun show. John Pappas said, great personality, Nicole.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
And Jeff Durso said, great choice on the dinner. So likes his Mexican too. So join us on Thursday night, 7 to 8 with Louie Vito on Thursday. Nicole Peterson, LFL, football player, marketing guru. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody share the video, spread the word, and we will see you guys on Thursday. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, guys.